ABC, it is Old Metal Rocker 65 here. I'm bringing back an old videos I used to do called What's Been Banging My Head. I haven't done one of them in probably, God, I want to say 4 or 5 years maybe. Well, I'm bringing it back, only this time I'm moving it inside to the Metal Cave. I used to do it all in the car with CDs and stuff, but I'm kind of retired somewhat, so I don't get out a lot, and I don't listen to as many CDs as I used to, as far as what I used to have in the car. So a lot of vinyl here, and only vinyl here, so I'm not even sure what episode this is. I'd have to go back and look, but we're going to continue this series. So what's been banging my head lately is some Holy Moses. Yes, Master of Disgrace. German thrash. Of course, you got Sabine Clausen on vocals. And I'll tell you, if you've never heard Holy Moses, you would never know it was a female vocals on here. I mean, she's just killer. I remember Angela Gasau, that used to be the vocalist with Arch Enemy, very similar. And but yeah, this is a killer thrash album. So this is what's been banging my head this past couple of weeks. Number 2. Got this, let's see, I got this from, I think it was Boone's Overstock. Killer album. I don't know if there's any of these left, but this has been banging my head as well. Got it on CD, have it on vinyl now. Starwood, if it ain't broke, break it. Killer. I mean, Thin Lizzy through and through here, just a Starwood name. Very glammy, killer metal here. I mean, let's see, what is that? That one is on, let's see, what is that one on? It is on, let's see, where is that? Orange vinyl. So, yeah, this is put out by Brutal Planet Records. So, just go over. I believe it was Boone's Overstock where I got this. But Limited Run Vinyl's also putting these out. So, I'm not sure how many are out there, but just killer glam, metal, hard rock, whatever. But from Starwood. Number 2. Here's what's banging my head, band out of Canada. I seen Scott Waters show this in another video of 15 obscure thrash bands that he gets into, and I liked what he said about this album, or this band in particular, so I went out and I picked up some Aggression here. From Hell with Hate. This is fantastic. Right up my alley. Vocally, I mean, it's just killer. And I'm not sure how many albums these guys have, but just some killer thrash. And on Extreme Music label, so you know it's going to be good. Another one banging my head. Also, a limited run vinyl. I believe from the same. This is from Backbreaker Records. Let's see, this Aggression was from, yeah, Extreme Music, excuse me. But anyway, so, and I'm talking about one of the early thrash bands in the new wave of thrash heavy metal. Or the new wave of thrash. This is one of the early bands that was doing it, Fueled by Fire and Spread the Fire. Just some killer thrash early. I believe this originally came out, I think, about 2007, if I'm not mistaken. And now on vinyl. Killer stuff. Thrash metal. I mean, if you like Testament, Exodus, Havoc, Dark Angel, Hyrix, you'll love Fueled by Fire. Killer stuff. So, Christmas is almost here. Hopefully everybody's going to get what they are wishing for. And I'm just wishing for my sister to get well, beat this cancer. She'll be back this weekend, so I get to see her. I haven't seen her in about 3 weeks. I've been in Arizona, so they're coming back for Christmas for 3 weeks, and then they're going back out, so get to spend some time with her. So looking forward to that. That's my Christmas wish. Spend more time with my sister and have her beat this cancer. All right, guys, here we continue on. Now we're going to go back into the 70s. This band was one album and done. Very obscure. Originals of this album are very, very scarce. This came out in 75. This is a band out of Mankato, Minnesota. This came out in 1975. And it was reissued in, I believe it was 1990. Yeah, 1990. And I don't know if it's been reissued after that or not. But this has 1990 on it, so it could be a very an original reissue. So that makes sense. But the band was called Highway. 70s hard rock, just a killer 3-piece band out of Mankato, one and done album. Picked this up over at Riding Easy Records. Great label if you've never been there. They have stoner, they have hard rock, they have some doom, southern rock as well, with the band Mammoth. Well, this is over there as well. So Highway, some killer 70s hard rock. And this is on Ultima Songs Records. So Highway, killer stuff. Now we're getting into the 80s here. And for the love of God, I don't know why or how I missed this album when it came out in the 80s. Could be where I live in my location. You know, again, you know, back in them early days, 70s, 80s, if you're fortunate enough to live in big cities like Minneapolis, out on the West Coast, LA, San Francisco, you know, big cities where you have better access to more import vinyls and so forth. But in my early days, I did find a lot of good bands. But when I moved home in 81, after getting out of the Coast Guard, you know, my vinyl buying kind of went down a little bit because I wasn't able to get to a lot of vinyl shops in those days. But anyway, I missed this band and I picked up this here a couple weeks back. Wow, fantastic, man. This is a phenomenal album. This one and Savage, Loose and Lethal, primo new wave of British heavy metal albums. Definitely the sound. This is more with Warhead. Fantastic copy, an OG I found. But it's on the Atlantic label. But just some killer stuff, man. Killer stuff. Definitely check these guys out if you've never checked out more. Can't believe I'm this late on this band. Sticking into the 80s yet, or maybe no, this is the 90s. I believe this came out in 92. Yeah, 92 this came out. I just got this. I'm missing 2 albums in my UFO collection as far as studios. Original, I'm missing Ain't Misbehavin', the original cover. I'm looking for that. It's pricey. I can't find it. I did buy the alternate cover, which is close, but if you've seen the original of Ain't Misbehavin', you'll know what I mean. It's kind of like the Scorpions with can't think of the album. I can picture the cover in back seat, bubblegum on her tits. Anyway, this has been banging my head too a lot, and finally filled this in my collection. If I find an original, I will pick that up, but this is a reissue. This is UFO, and this is what? High Stakes and Dangerous Men. Man, you know, going back and listen to these older albums that I haven't heard in quite a while, you know, and to a lot of you guys, a couple weeks back I did a UFO collections video. Well, I didn't have this in my vinyl. I just got this and waiting on, like I said, Ain't Misbehavin'. So I know there's a few others I'm getting I'll show, and then I'll probably just do a mini UFO update. So anyway, pick this up. Wow, this is really good. And come out in 92, you know, and a lot of the original members had left, except for, who was it? Phil Mogg, and I can't remember, Paul Chapman, maybe he was still there. Pete Way was still there. And then they added, it was Clive Edwards and Lawrence Archer that were drums and guitars. But this is a really good album, surprising. But this is the original cover, but it sounds really good, this reissue here. But yeah, UFO, it's been banging my head. In fact, a lot of UFO has. I bought this on a recommendation from Scott Waters. Was like 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago. He sent me a link to Amazon for this album. And I really didn't have hardly any of this band's material in my collection. I think I have a CD. I might have one other album. I don't think so. I do. I have some of the newer Zentrics. Anyway, this one, I've never had this, and I need to go from this back to pick up more of the early stuff. But I picked up this. This was an Amazon, I think a pre-Black Friday sale. I mean, it was a decent price. It was going for like $17, and I picked up the Zentrics and the Kin album. This is on Music on Vinyl. And of course, we know, if you're familiar with Music on Vinyl, they're very, very good at what they do. Top-notch, heavy-duty vinyl, 180 gram, maybe 160 gram vinyls usually. But yeah, this is really good. It's a little bit older than their. This came out originally, I think it was 92, 91 in there, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was 92. If I'm not mistaken. Anyway, there's like 1,500 copies of this out there, so I'm sure you probably could get this. It still has that thrashy sound, but not like their earlier stuff. I think they kind of were, I don't know how to say, polishing up their music a little bit more, I think, on this. But still a good album. So the Zentrics have been banging my head as well. This, and I need to get the early stuff. This was killer. Killer Texas thrash. I bought 4 albums and a 7-inch from Shadow Kingdom Records. I buy a lot from a lot of these obscure labels, you know, and I haven't bought anything there probably, God, I want to say probably 4 or 5 months. So I went over there about a week and a half ago, and they had a bunch of stuff I was looking for, and I picked up this. There are 4 albums. I thought I showed one earlier, maybe not. Anyway, I picked up this Militia. This is Gods of War, or Made of War. Oh, excuse me. And the Gods made war, so I had War and Gods in there, so I just missed the whole rest of it. So anyway, killer Texas thrash, man. Wow. Ultra clear, splatter. But I need to get Militia, the White Album. Rockadrome must have been a couple years back, had the White Militia album, which right now is very expensive and hard to get nowadays. I wish I would have picked it up when I seen it. It was for a decent price. But anyway, I seen this, I was going to pick it up. Probably not as rare as that album, but still some killer Texas thrash. Now we're going to jump over to the pond to UK, England. This band is killer as well. This is, I believe, their second full length. I remember the first time hearing these guys, it was probably about 4 or 5 years ago. And of course, as many of you know, I love new wave of traditional heavy metal bands. I mean, I search them out. That genre and thrash and some progressive metal are predominantly what I love. Old school heavy metal, you know. I don't get too extreme when it comes to heavy metal. But anyway, this band came around, like I said, about 4 or 5 years ago, and they're new wave of traditional heavy metal. They've definitely upped their game on this album from Coulter. And this one is To Watch with Hands, To Touch with Eyes. It really has an epic vibe on this too, epic heavy metal, but it still has that new wave of traditional heavy metal sound in there, featured throughout a bunch of their songs here. But yeah, it's just a killer album. This is, like, again, this is one I picked up over at Rockadrome, so definitely if you see this, pick it up. Killer. It's been banging my head. And this was the last one I picked up over there, and I only have like one left after this. And but I've heard and seen videos of, I think, this band's early stuff, but this is their debut album. They come out. These guys are out of Colombia, and these guys slay. If you like Vulture, if you like Knife, there's a few other bands right in that same style that are doing it. This band is doing it just as good. Raging Speed Metal, debut album from Reckless, Sharp Magic Steel, and this thing rips. This is phenomenal album. This is a new release. This came out this year. I mean, I bought a lot of thrash releases this year, and this is right up there. I'm not sure. Well, it definitely will. I believe this is 2024, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, this is that good. It's going to be probably my top 10 this year. But yeah, this is a ripper, man. Killer speed metal. Like I say, if you like Knife, Vulture, I can't think of the band, but killer stuff. Reckless. Last one. Been banging my head the last couple weeks. And this is really good. If you've not heard this, again, this will be in probably my top 20. This guy has a unique vocal, of course. You'll know it when I say it. Lead singer of Crocus. There you go. There's your hint. This is his single album that came out this year. Came out on Frontiers Records. This is Storace and Crossfire. Man, this is some killer heavy metal, hard rock. I mean, it harkens back to like One Vice at a Time, Metal Rendezvous, stuff like that. I mean, that's To me, that's where his vocal range is on this album. I mean, and he's just got a killer backing of musicians on here that are phenomenal. I mean, this is a great album. Definitely pick this up. Frontiers Records. I mean, they're really known for a lot of melodic metal, some progressive metal, maybe some progressive power metal, melodic hard rock, and but this is really, really good heavy metal album. Definitely right up there. I mean, it's that close. But definitely check this out. Anyway, guys, if you got any comments, leave them below. If you're new to my channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, you'll get updates of upcoming videos. And as always, take care and always keep it heavy metal. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next time.